Hi, my name is Helge from pixeltrain. I'm a senior 3D, VFX and game dev trainer with more than 20 years of experience in teaching artists all over the world. This advertising-free tutorial was made possible by my wonderful Patreons. If you like it, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. And maybe you also want to become a pixeltrain patron yourself. With that, you support the making of these tutorials and get even more benefits like Patreon-only tutorials, technical articles, industry news, Discord access, and discounts to my publications. Link in the description below. Thanks a lot, and now let's get started. Have fun.
Hi folks, hi patrons. My name is Helge from pixeltrain, and in this tutorial I want to talk about another Blender for production technique when we work with instanced collections. And for this I want to show you a free add-on which is named Edit Instance Collections, and I also want to show you some background to collections. This is only one part of the tutorial because there are different kinds of instance collections. We can have collections inside of a Blender file itself, or we also can link them from another file, and then we need a little bit of different technique, and this is something I will show in another tutorial to keep this here simple. So I have again my classroom here, and let's talk first about what an instant collection is. Let's say we take one of these chairs here. Let's focus on it with the comma key on our numpad. Here it is. And search for this chair here in the hierarchy. Let's hover with the mouse over the hierarchy, press the comma key on your numpad again, or you also can use your tilde key here, because the tilde key brings up this view pie, and on the right side we have show active, and we see this here is chair number 6. And instead of having now an icon which shows that this here is an object, we have an icon here which shows this seems to be somehow a collection. And if we open this up, we also see that there is no mesh data underneath that, but there is a collection underneath that with the name School Desk. And if I now look through all these chairs here, you see absolutely the same thing. So all of these elements here, all of these chairs are instances of a collection which is somewhere in the scene or maybe also outside of the scene. And this is an extremely common practice, which I also do if I'm constructing complex scenes. I build modules. For example, this chair can be a module, a wall can be a module, and so on. And these modules I normally bring into a collection, and this collection then I instance over and over. And this is the way I build, for example, architectural scenes or game scenes, because that's exactly a technique which is used there a lot to save memory. And the same is here in Blender, because Blender only needs to store one of these chairs and you can instance them around. How to instance them? That's quite easy to do. So let's search here for a free spot. Let's say here I make a shift right mouse button click here to place my 3D cursor here on the floor, only as an example. And then you can go to the add menu with shift A, or you can go here to the add menu, and I do it here because the list is now quite long. You can go to collection instances, and because I have so many here, I have to click here once, and now I have a search field with all the collections which are part of this Blender file. And if I now search for desk, you will see here's the school desk, and this is the original one of this chair. I press enter, and now I have a new instance here with this chair, and like I said, it doesn't need much memory because it references to the original one. Okay, let's get rid of this guy here with the X key and talk a little bit more about this desk here. So if we now know that this here is only an instance, you also see that here in the properties we have some differences. We see now here where normally the data properties of a mesh are, you see that this here under the hood is only an empty. So you see the empty also here as a positioning helper. And that's the way it works. It's an empty which has a position, a scale, a rotation. And at this point in space, you get the mesh data, which is then taken from the original collection. And where is this set? This is set here in the object properties. So if you go to the object properties, you'll see that here is a section for instancing, and if you open this up, you see this is an instance of a collection, and the name of the collection is School Desk, and you also can see it here. this brings us to a big problem in this workflow if you don't do it clever. In this file here, we use this school desk, and the original file was built that it uses an external Blender file with an asset folder where all the pieces are stored. I made them all local to show you the problem which I really often have with external files which come to me and people want to have help with that. They have exactly that. They have instanced a lot, these collections, but they don't know where the original file now is. And if you want to make a change, you only can make it in the original piece. How to do that now? Let's first learn a little bit about techniques here inside of the outliner. So what you have to understand is that all of these chairs here are in reality empties. So if you know that the original one should be named school desk, you can type it in here, school desk, and you see all school desks are now shown. And if you then go here to the filter and say, don't show me any empties, if the original collection is then part of this scene here, you would see it here in the list. But you see, in my case, you don't see anything. So this is a trick you can do. If you know that one of these collections is the original one with all the measures, you can search it like this. But like I've said, it doesn't work. It also doesn't work like this if you have, which I also do really often, have here another scene with the original assets. Yeah, it only shows here in the outliner what's inside of that. What you also can see, and this is then the topic of another tutorial, is, let's search this guy here again, that if you have a link here at the right side here of the icon, then it's instant from an outside blend file. So you have to search for the blend file, and you normally do that really easy by going here to the outliner to the top, say, show me the blend file as a database, and then you go down, 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 and you see here one asset is linked from the outside at the moment, and this is the wall clock blend. So that's the way you normally search for it, and you see it's in the folder of this blend file. This is the double slash. Then we go one folder up, go into the subfolder with the name assets. There is a subfolder with the name wall clock, and there's the wall clock blend. And if you have a wall clock here, you would say, okay, this is the blend file I have to open to edit the wall clock. But also in our case, the chair is not there because I have made them now local. So how to solve that now? And this is now solved with the help of a free add-on with the name Edit Instant Collection. And it's a pity, but it's not part of the extension platform at the moment because it's quite an old add-on, but it's so useful so that I use it all the time. So where do we get it? Let's go into my preferences and go this time here to add-ons and search for it. Edit. Here we go. Edit Instant Collection, that's the name. And if you now take a look here, you see there's a link to a GitHub web page where the original source code is hosted. You can use this URL here, or I also can add it to the description of this video. And here you can download it. You see the latest release is here on the right side. It's the version 0.2.1, which was released 22. And if you click that here, you can download here the zip. And this is exactly the add-on then. And you have to install it the old school way. So it's not an extension. So the way you install it here would be, don't unzip it and go here to add-ons, go here to this little drop down, say install from disk, and then you show it, and then you can install it and activate it. That's all. And make sure again that if you want to have it later, save the preference, and that's it. Okay. Now we have this add-on, and the question is, how does it work? So we still don't know where the original element is. It's somewhere, or maybe it's not somewhere because I localized it. Now I want to change the desk. And the cool thing is you can generate a temporary scene out of that. You see at the moment, I don't have any scenes. I only have this main scene. And what I now do is I make a right mouse button click here onto my instance collection, and I have here now a new item with the name Edit Instanced Collection and also a keyboard shortcut. If you click that now, you will see that Blender generates for me a temporary school desk scene. And I press here the home key to zoom everything in. And here's my school desk. And you see this is the collection with all the data. And you see this data is not linked. This is original. And now I can make my changes. And the cool thing is we still can switch back here to the main scene if we like. So it's here. We can work now with that. And what I do is, for example, I say, let's select here the school desk. I place my 3D cursor here with Shift, right mouse button, click on this little desk. And let's say Shift A. Let's make here a little UV sphere. Okay, I set little. Something like that here. So this maybe is an apple. And shade it smooth. And I want to place it here. So let's set the origin to the bottom of this here. Let's use Act for that. In the Z-axis here, I want to have the minimum value. Now the origin point is here. And then I can snap with Shift S this object to the cursor. Now it's perfectly aligned here on the desk. And if you like, you also can make it apple-like red. Okay, and much rougher. I think you can make it nicer. Now comes the trick. You can switch back here to your main scene and you will see that this change is now propagated to all of these elements. And question now arises, what do we do with this temp thing? Do we need that anymore? You can keep it for a time because you say, okay, I want to work a little bit more with that because I still want to make some changes. For example, you replace the whole thing or whatever. And if you're happy with that and you don't need it anymore, you can delete the scene by going here to the scene selected to the right side. You unlink the scene by making that here. Now the scene is gone here, but the data is still in memory because data blocks and so on. So if you really want to throw away also the data, you can clean up your scene under File, Clean Up, and purge the unused data if you like. Now everything is gone. And if you ever need to change something again, select one of these instances and make the same thing. Edit the instance collection, go in, the explanation tells you how to do it. And now you see this sphere here is still editable. And I can search for a better color if I like, and so on. So close it. That's it. Okay, I think that's it for today. You have seen how Edit Instanced Collection, the add-on, works and where you find it, and have learned also a little bit about these collections. If you have any questions about that, please comment below. And if you like these kind of tutorials, please consider becoming a Patreon. Have fun with Blender. Your Helge Maus. See you next time.